So today I'm going to be installing the headstem, new headstem bearings, new outer races, the inner bearings, top and bottom. Hopefully get the top triple, bottom triple in. Yeah, so I'm just sort of going to go through what I'm going to do there to get the outer races out. I didn't do a video on it, but I did the same method that I used on the K. Just making a drift up. I've got a bit of 10mm oil thread, nut and bolt each side on a mudguard washer. I've got the grinder on the edge of that washer. I don't know if you can see that, but I ground it down to a point. So you can actually feed it down through, and because there's the tiniest little lip on the race, it actually sits sort of on that lip. Give it a belt on the top and they came out pretty easy. There's countless sort of different ways that you can do it, but that way's worked for me both times pretty easily. So they are out. To get the races back in, I've actually got the races sitting in the freezer at the moment to make them maybe a little bit easier, but it should be pretty easy anyway. But I'm going to use the method that everybody seems to use, just sort of sit them in there, tuck them straight, and then I'm making up my own, I suppose it's a press that you can buy from the shops. Just a bit of 12mm all thread that I had laying around. I went down to my local hardware and got a couple of these are 65 by 65 square washers. Cost you about $1.50 each, I think. So I'm thinking I'll throw a washer on that. It's a 16mm hole in these babies. I'll throw that on the bottom. That'll obviously come up through the head stem and lock the bottom. And then on the top you'll have the race sitting on top there. I'll use one of the old races upside down just to sit on top of the new race. And then on top of that I'll have the other plate with a washer, nut, and then we'll just do it up until it drives it home, and then go the opposite direction for the bottom. All right, so we'll try and get the top race in. So I've virtually just sat it in there, get it nice and square in there. So it looks pretty square. Now we shall use our little jig. Hopefully this works. Up through the bottom. And then on top of that, we'll put the old race. A square washer, round washer, and line it all up. This will be the tricky part. Alrighty. Need another hand for this. Okay. So that looks pretty good. We'll try and centralize everything so it goes in straight. Looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit over. Let's see what happens. Got my 18mm spanner at the bottom. And I love these, the Barco. It's an 18mm, or it's a socket set, but it's a straight through, so you can keep driving the rod all the way through. Give that a turn, and she's sliding down nicely. So the other race should just pop in to seat it. That feels pretty tight. Back her back out. There we have it, nice and flush, beautiful. New race in there. Now for the bottom. I've actually got this marked. I don't know if it matters, but I know people always say that you should match your your bearing with your race. So this is how I got them. So I've marked the bottom one, and that's the one that's actually in the oven at the moment. Give that a clean off. And we shall do the reverse. There we have it. She's in. As I suspected, it does go up a bit further. You've got a bit of a ledge in here. That's sitting perfect on that stop there. So races are in. Alright, fingers crossed this works. So I've got the bottom yoke and the stem all nicely iced up. Don't forget the dust cap. That would be a bit of a tragedy. I've had the bearing in the oven for quite a while, so it should be at around the 200 degrees Fahrenheit that's required. Grab that out. And hopefully I'll slide this on and she drops off. Yeesh, look at that. Straight on. I shall let that cool down, sizzling like a nice steak. Yep, that's all the way down. And we're ready, so I'll let that cool down. Next step is we get them all greased up and install the head stem. I've gone down to the auto shop and I've got myself some Penrite extreme pressure grease. It's a waterproof. I think it's, yeah, it is. It's the same as that red crap that BMW uses. I don't know why, but I read not to use bearing grease, I think because of the heat that it needs to work better. But this stuff, apparently lithium based, it's the go-to. So I'll get the bearings all packed and then install the head stem. The tapered side goes down to the bearing. This will help push the bearing and seat it down in the race. I shall get my trusty toolkit that came with the R100. This is the spanner. Now it's seated, I'll undo this and install the dust cap. Beautiful. I'll put a bit of tape on this for the minute. I'll probably get a rubber stop just so I don't damage the paint on the stops. Next thing is my beautiful top triple, designed and made by Jack's Garage, another Melbourne boy. It's a beautiful looking thing. So I've got that, and I have the top nut, which you probably saw earlier. I got a top nut from one of the stores, and I drilled the center out and installed this momentary press button, which is going to be my start button. So this baby sits over the top of that, and that will sit in there. I'm going to have to line this button up properly once I get it set up. But that is it. Awesome. Top triple is back in. Big moment. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next installment. Couldn't help myself. Had to slip in the starter button and the Pro and see how it looked. I know why people say that I get a little bit carried away.